Rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez.
Present.
Councilman Cypress.
Here.
Councilman Larka.
Here.
Councilman O'Connor.
Here.
Supervisor Hay.
Here. Notation, the exits up in the rear, rear and the front. Electronic device, please put it on vibrate. They'd asked to bring your mics a little bit closer so they can pick it up a little bit better if it's possible. Okay. First item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing. Amend Chapter 131 of Town Code, Vehicles and Traffic. I'll make a motion to move this forward and waive the reading of the public hearing notice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone here this evening to speak to the notice in the paper? This is about parking at the town park. We have 3 areas, which is for town residents only. As most people know, when you go up there, it's pretty crowded now with the bikeway. And we're trying to keep room, especially during the summertime, for the ball playing up there, tennis, pickleball, bike trail, for our residents. So with that, no one for this evening?
Tony, I just have one question on this
Okay.
myself, and maybe this is for Will or maybe John O'Connor would know. But there's parking for the bike path on, well, there's not really parking on the bottom of Joe's Hill Road. Is there any way that those could be marked for southeast only residents?
It's not our property.
Not on our property. Okay, just curious.
I mean, there could be signs that say no parking because it's on a town road and but they may be, the way they slip in at the end of Joe's Hill Road, it's, there's a railroad right-of-way there. And that's
Okay.
where the bike path is. It was never intended to be a parking area.
Okay, all right.
Okay, seeing no public comment, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing with no write-in period.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is a work session for discussion on Route 312 properties. Eric, to speak to this?
Yeah, so I asked Tony to put this on the agenda. As you guys know, there's a lot of properties, not only limited to 312, but throughout town that are continue to be run down and out of compliance to a lot of our codes. And it's been very frustrating for myself and a lot of people that I talk to around town that we just can't seem to get these properties in compliance or resolved. So as I put in an email to you guys, I was hoping that we could inquire with a company called Z3, who's a third-party company. They came recommended by Pauling, who uses them for some of their code enforcement, which they outsource, and get a second opinion on what could be done with these properties, and also potentially look through some of our processes to see if there's any more efficient ways that we could address these issues.
Have you got an updated quote from them?
I spoke to Gary this afternoon, and he said he would be very interested. We did have a quote from a while ago, but I wanted to speak to the board before I reached out any further.
Well, before he even does that, maybe we'd talk about going out to an RFP, put together a package,
Okay.
and put it out there before we get an actual quote.
What was the quote last time?
Well, don't,
It was, I should say, what is the amount
sorry,
that
yeah.
you need an RFP for?
oh, believe me,
Well, it really, the different types of RFP is based upon the amount of value. So if you're looking, this would, I assume would be like a professional service, there's no real monetary limit, but it's highly recommended by the controller's office that you seek quotations from people that are gonna provide this professional service.
Okay, okay, yeah. it'd be
we've
fine.
pretty much always done that, so,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
okay. So, we'll talk tomorrow, and we'll write something up and put it out there,
Okay, perfect, thank you.
okay?
Can I just, how exactly will you be trying to quote? Like, what exactly are you, not exact, but what are you asking them to do? Just
So-
look at that corridor, or?
No,
No.
I wouldn't limit it to that corridor.
I thought you were gonna oversee what's happening in the department itself, to review their process and things of that nature.
Yeah, so originally we had reached out to Z3 to see if they could help us onboard to M5 because we're having a lot of challenges with that. In the conversations that I had with them, you know, we talked about code enforcement. I think Z3 was willing to do some ride-alongs through town with maybe the supervisor and point some things out and point out some challenging properties to see if there's maybe a different approach. And then also, as part of the M5 implementation, we had asked them to look at our processes and see if there's, you know, our building permit is many pages. Can we simplify that? How can we make the end, you know, our customers or the constituents, how can we make it easier for them and simpler for us so that, you know, as you guys know, the building department's very busy, so could we provide efficiencies? So we had gotten some quotes for him. They were two separate quotes. One was to look at code enforcement, and one was like implementation and looking at processes. So we could dust those off and maybe RFP.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
And that company does provide services for other towns as like a third party, smaller towns that don't have maybe like a building department or like a fire marshal.
Yeah, when I first joined, you had mentioned them, I think, as part of M5, and I had done a little poking around, so I'd support their input.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
I make a motion to go into the regular meeting portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First one is special permit request for Partners Management Jazz Club Performing Arts Theater. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby makes the following findings of fact in connection with the instant application. 1, the proposed use in such a location is a size and character that will be in harmony with the appropriate and orderly development of the surrounding district and will not be detrimental to the immediate site or adjacent properties. 2, the location and size of the proposed use, the nature and intensity of the operations involved in or conducted in connection therewith, its site layout, and its relation to access streets will be such that both pedestrian and vehicular traffic to and from the use and the assembly of persons in connection therewith will not be hazardous. 3, the exterior appearance of the building will not be changed and therefore will not hinder or discourage the development and use of adjacent land and buildings provided. To the extent applicable, all reviews and approvals of the Town Southeast Architecture Review Board are incorporated in any final approval of the project. And 4, the proposed use will not require such additional public facilities or services or create fiscal burdens upon the town greater than those which characterize use permitted as of right. And be further resolved that based upon the foregoing findings, the town board of the town of Southeast hereby grants a special use permit to Partners Management LLC in connection with its subject premises in accordance with statement of use prepared and submitted to the planning board in connection with the project development plan to allow a portion of the subject premises to be developed, used and utilized as a jazz club / performing arts theater on the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall construct and operate the facility in compliance with all conditions set forth in Article 10 of the zoning code, and all operations shall be contained wholly within the building in areas shown and designated as jazz club / performing arts theater, as set forth in the project development plan. Any unauthorized expansion of the use beyond this designated area shall be considered a violation of this special permit. 2, there should be no parking or standing of patron vehicles along the public highways there herefore designed as no parking. The area along Argonne Road opposite the subject premises and owned by Partners Management shall be sufficiently improved and enhanced to encourage orderly parking thereon, and shall incorporate designated and striped crosswalks between the parking areas and the subject premises. And be further resolved that any and all violations of the terms and conditions of this grant of special permit or the project development plan shall be immediately abated upon notice of the developer. Failure to properly and fully abate such violations shall result in the immediate issuance of process in local criminal court and result in the potential imposition of fines and other penalties as set forth in the zoning and building codes of the town of Southeast. In addition, failure to abate any such violation shall be considered a nuisance and will result in filing a process seeking civil and equitable injunctive relief, including but not limited to an order revoking the grant of special permit and revocation of any certificates of occupancy issued in reliance thereon. And be further resolved that the planning board is authorized and directed to continue its review of the project development plan for the subject premises incorporating the conditions of the special permit in any resolution granting final project development plan approval and may ultimately adopt in connection with the project. In addition, the planning board is authorized and encouraged to impose any and all additional measures deemed necessary and appropriate to mitigate perceived impacts of the proposed special permit upon adjoining properties and the use of public thoroughfares adjacent thereto, and be further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to forward a certified copy of this resolution to Partners Management LLC, owner of the subject premises, the secretary of the Town of Southeast Planning Board, and the building inspector of the Town of Southeast forthwith. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion.
So, since Mr. Lansky's walking to the mic, I just have one question for you.
Usually we don't take public comment unless we ask.
He's the applicant.
He's the applicant.
He's the applicant.
Oh, even,
He's the applicant.
I know who he is, but I didn't.
I was-
Okay,
Eric said he had a question.
No, well, I have a question,
He
that's
has-
why I'm going to the mic.
Okay.
It's not really important, but
I only had one small thing. It said crosswalks with an S versus crosswalk. If it could just say crosswalk, that would be helpful.
There's no problem with that.
There was only one on the plan.
There's only one location.
Yeah, so that was it.
Mr. Lansky, I just have one question for you. Is this Jazz, there's 3 floors there, this is gonna be on the top floor? Is
Top
that-
floor.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought, thank you.
So in that event room that had like the corner bar?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Michelle, you see what I worded crosswalk?
Yep,
You got
okay,
there?
yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You're ready to go. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck. Okay, number 2, resolution local law number 4 of 2022, chapter 126, taxation. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of Town Southeast hereby adopts local law number 4 of 2022 pursuant to municipal home rule amending chapter 126 of the town code taxation. And be further resolved that the town clerk be and is hereby authorized and directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and give due notice of the adoption of said local law by filing such with the Secretary of State of New York with the time required by law. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 3, resolution appoint Board of Assessment Review. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Southeast hereby appoints Lisa LaGuardia Tremblay to an additional term on the Town of Southeast Board of Assessment Review for such term to commence on October 1, 2022 and expire September 30, 2027. And be further resolved that this appointment shall take effect upon the taking and filing of the appropriate oath of office with the clerk of the Town of Southeast. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion.
Just out of curiosity, why is this board a different time than the others?
I think it has to do with statute.
Yeah.
I think it's
State
the
law.
way the real property, I'm trying to think of the name of the law that governs assessments and real property, and the establishment of a BAR, but that's the way the terms work. It's always October 1st to September 30th.
Interesting, thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
But I'll also add that it's a staggered membership, so not everybody doesn't expire at the same time.
Yeah. And number 4, now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Southeast hereby abolishes the employment position with the Town of Southeast government known as aide to Town Board, and be further resolved that the town clerk is hereby ordered and directed to forward a certified copy of the resolution to the Putnam County Personnel Department forthwith. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Recognition of public. Any public to speak? Town board.
I have no comments.
Seeing none. Again, Kyle, thank you for coming this evening. Why don't you just come up for a second and just explain your position to the town so everyone knows what we're...
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kyle Steimel. I am the area manager, project manager for JCO Inc., H2 Innovations, the company running many of your water systems. I'm here to oversee a lot of the projects. We'll be working closely with, I think, Delaware Engineering to make some changes and go over a bunch of anything that's gonna come up, we're working together to make a list. I've got a couple of things of my own. Eric has met me via email a couple of times. If you guys have any other questions or any questions at all, I urge you to reach out to me via email or my phone. I'll get some cards for you I have in the car. You guys can have that's got my cell number on it. If there's any other questions about the water or how it should work, or the wastewater, how it should work, they can be directed towards me.
Kyle, I just have one comment.
Absolutely.
Just to make sure you're aware, and I'm sure you are, but we have on our website, many of the residents have signed up for notifications, especially those in the water districts.
Yes.
So, as I mentioned in my email, I think communication's 80% of the issue. People just want to know.
Absolutely.
So I think you can email, I guess, Victoria or even the town board, and we can push that out to people. It may be very helpful.
Yeah, I believe that was handled internally over here at some point. I don't know what the function of how that would go out, but obviously sending out notifications like that is not an issue whatsoever. Especially when it comes to discoloration up there in the heights. I think that it's something that we know is going to happen before it happens, and it's something that we could let people know.
Yeah.
We see it down at the plant, so I'd like to open up that communication, like you said, just so that we're ahead of it, so that people aren't upset about it. And obviously, we'll be working with Delaware Engineering to resolve that issue.
Excellent.
That's what we're looking for.
Thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Nope, I just wanted you to say one.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, my name's Kyle. I'm around town all the time. Again, give me a call or an email, whatever you want. I'm around.
Thank you,
Okay,
Kyle.
Thank you.
very good. Okay, seeing nothing else, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to close the meeting?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming this evening. Thank you.